the stretch. From the time that Pippen's three tied it at 85, you and Scotty got all the points.
Yeah, we play well. We have the 1-2 combination all year long. And I've always said that, Scotty takes pressure off me as much as I take pressure off him. So I'm MJ.
Line on both sides.
That's how you feel, Ron?
Yeah, that's how you feel.
Well, he's gonna start it up in mid conversation.
This
we have a great editor, Ryan.
This jerk. Don't edit that. Oh, it's unbiased. It's unbiased sports talk time, fellas. Y'all got your tea ready.
I feel left out.
Ready?
Yeah, get you some.
Yeah. Hey, E Sigel, he drink with both hands. I haven't seen a man drink a cup with 2 hands long.
Can I have some more soup?
Please, sir.
Can I have another?
Bro, that man said,
I need to get rid of this cold.
He feel weak.
Yeah, you got a little cold. I'm getting.
You got a cold for real?
Yeah.
Who get those? We ain't heard about them in a long time.
Right?
Shit, I get a cold.
It's ain't nothing but cold.
Hoodie.
Oh man, you still working out, E?
Yeah, we try to stay in there, trying to get like y'all, throwing up them hundreds.
Oh, here you go. Unbiased sports talk time, fellas. Strap your seatbelts in. This is going to be a very sensitive subject. I think that we'll let the backstory speak for itself.
Transgender swimmer is smashing records in the U.S. women's competition. Lia Thomas, who competed as a man as recently as 2019, finishing one race a full 38 seconds ahead of the closest rival.
Recently in sports news, recently in sports news, there was a transgender male athlete who won a swim meet, which brought up a lot of controversy. And I don't think this is the only event or sporting event.
Hold on, brother. Before you say, we got to say correct, transgender female, because they went from male to female.
Transgender female. We got to get our terms straight. Let it be known, I'm not here to offend anybody. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're unbiased, but we are fair and we are for everybody's rights, and we don't want to get canceled. So back to regular scheduled programming. So in sports right now, there are a lot of transitions. There has been a transition of transgender athletes switching different gender sports. How do you guys feel about the transition, and do you feel that it's a fair advantage for the regular gender? I don't even know what to say. For the cisgender.
You got a lot on your mind, Ron. Go ahead, start it off. Don't even say you always start it off, because I do. Go ahead. Your face was
my man said, I am not going to talk today. You talk.
Yeah, I mean,
can I talk on this podcast?
Right.
Facts. We said to be ourselves on this shit. This shit is this is blasphemy.
Be real, be fair, be respectful.
Well, I was about to start cursing. Wasn't she ranked 468 when she was with the men?
Mm-hmm.
Then you come to you start swimming with the women. You start ranking number 1.
Yeah, winning the national title.
I hate to do this, because I hate when people do this shit to me. I used to tell it to Javon. I used to hate what Javon would do. I hate when Javon used to do this shit to me. When I ask a question, I ask the question back. Do you hear females begging to play football?
They're not begging, but they have been. There are women who play football.
No.
Lower levels.
No. There's one thing say that there are. I'm saying, do you really hear women really saying, "Oh, I'm trying to go up there and play with the men"?
I've seen it at the lower levels, like JV and high school, for sure. I haven't cannot think of one that was pro. I haven't. I can't think of one top of my head. I would have to research. I'm sure there's maybe one, at least.
Not tackle football, at least. I've
No,
seen
no.
it only maybe flag leagues, non-contact type leagues. Those where it can still be a
Co-ed
similar
leagues.
advantage.
I'm with that.
I know one in particular. She was pretty much destroying men and women. Santia, she goes by track baby.
Santia Deck,
Yeah.
the female Barry Sanders.
Hold on,
I mean,
bro. We played against a girl homecoming.
What, talking about high school? Yeah, I mean,
Hey, don't let me tell the story because I was on a mission.
Hey, look, you gotta do what you gotta do.
What you dog the girl around?
No, here's the story. This is actually a crazy story. Me and Maul's sophomore year in high school, our high school JV football team was so good, we took over varsity's homecoming. So early dismissal and shit, we all warming up and everything, and we were playing against Duval. And we start paying attention to their warm up, and we noticed that big number 80 played tight end. I said, I know this bitch ain't playing. I said, oh, she's playing.
Marlon, your reaction, he reckless, I swear to you.
Right.
He don't know. Listen here, bro.
What?
Be better.
Please don't
I'm sorry,
but
I'm sorry. Okay, actually, to my viewers, okay.
That was an affectionate.
Don't judge this character. This is the character that I am when I'm on the field. Okay, so I say a lot of shit in public and other shit. I'm cool as a fan. So, anyways, back to my story. So
you tried it. It sounded okay. Good job.
Yeah, second quarter comes, and I knew they were going to do this play. I said, if they do this play, I don't want the ball. Oh my God. She ran that post corner, bam, knocked her out the game.
Dang.
Welcome to football. We're equal now. Maybe.
Cheerios.
Oh goodness.
But all seriousness though. I think my real problem is this. We all are trying to fight for equality, but sometimes it's okay not to be equal. It's okay for us not to be equal in certain things. If you go through science and stuff, biologically, men are ahead in women in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to sports. I had someone try to have an argument with me saying that Layla Ali can beat Usain Bolt in a boxing match. I bet not. I bet
that
not.
comes down to training.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt is not a trained boxer.
So, I'm gonna let y'all go. Go ahead.
But you're right about that though. So I got a question for you, Maul, since you jumped out there and said this. How tall is Layla Ali?
You gotta be 6'1".
No, she's 5'10".
Okay, 5'10".
Okay, how tall is Usain Bolt?
What, 6'6"?
6'5".
Okay.
Okay. Now, like I explained to someone else, am I to say she doesn't have a chance? No, I'm not gonna say that because she is a pro boxer. But at the same time, if there's a guy who has an athletic background and a pro athletic background, I am going with the guy.
Okay, Ron, question.
Answer.
I needed this.
How well do your feet translate to your hands? How well do your feet translate to your hands? Layla Ali has trained for how many years with what? Bolt has trained for how many years with what? It doesn't translate the same. It's like saying anybody can come out the so somebody taller than you right now and bigger than you can come out the street and beat you in boxing.
Yeah, who has longer reach?
That don't make.
That doesn't matter. Mike Tyson, how tall is Mike Tyson?
You hold. Time out.
So Mike Tyson, hold on, I don't need you right now. Can I mute you? Can I mute you?
Don't lose it.
What was Mike Tyson's reach?
Time out. Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Hold on. Mike Tyson. We're talking about two different fighting styles now. We're talking about
that. So that's what we're talking about. So how you just you don't even know his style.
Now you're bringing fighting style into it. Usain Bolt has zero fighting style.
I'm not gonna say.
I'm not
gonna say no man has no zero fighting style. We don't know his fighting
As
style.
far as
he
a
doesn't have a
professional
fighting
boxing background,
there you go.
he
Not
He
a
doesn't
trained
have a
boxer.
fighting
professional
background.
Layla Ali has done this as a craft.
Can you get him? Can you talk to him?
I'm
She's
with y'all.
fighting
Like,
women.
No, I know you
it's
are.
just-
But give him the civilized, relaxed, chill version, please. Give it to
but
him.
I would compare it, like, take for example, right? Something like golf. If there's a professional woman that plays golf and is skilled at playing that, there's not a dude who's just going to come off the street and beat her at playing golf, even if he's physically stronger, because there's a level of skill to that. Similar in boxing, there's a level of skill in that. It's just not strictly physical attributes. Now, do physical attributes amplify your skill and your abilities? 100%. But to have a person who is not a professional get challenged by someone who's not even hardly even an amateur, no.
You think you can beat one of them
There's
MMA girls, Ron?
He would have
MMA
a
girls?
one shot.
You say
Yeah.
MMA girls?
Yeah,
Hell
like
no.
one of the champions.
Hell no.
We just saw with size difference and weight difference. We saw with Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
He had that boy Logan Paul knocked out on his feet.
Hold on.
Okay.
Time out.
I'm just saying
hold on,
that's
hold on,
size
Hold on.
and
Let's
weight
get back.
difference.
Let's get back to
Size, weight,
the point though.
time
Let's
and
get back to
sport.
the point. That's men on men.
I know.
Point is, skill matters.
I went
So back
size,
to the point with
size
Ron.
and weight though. Size
Yes.
and weight.
Absolutely,
That
100%.
brought-
All right.
All right.
When it comes to this topic, I'm just going to say that I want equality for everybody, but I don't think that it's always fair.
Yeah.
And when you have a transgender woman playing in a women's sport, in most physical sports, it is not fair. Swimming, wrestling, football, basketball, it's not fair. And I'm explaining why it's not fair. Just not going to talk about, I'm going to give some valid points. Before puberty or after puberty, I don't really care about that. Because at the end of the day, a man just has different developments from bone density, lung capacity, and just physical strength. That's just genetics. This is not a real debate for the most part. This is really facts. The fact is a man is naturally stronger and faster than a woman. And if they, on average, and that's a good average. Now, if you put the excuse of just testosterone and all that, but if a man hits puberty and already is grown and developed, you can adjust testosterone, but even if you put them at the same level, a man still develops better. So it's an unfair advantage. Now, to say that not one woman could compete against a man, I will not say that. I will say that it varies in most sports and situations. If you put a very conditioned athlete with a man who doesn't have a background in that athlete, I'm going with the woman 10 times down probably. If it's just a physical sport of just speed and strength, I'm going to go with just the man. But if it has, like he said, if it has a technique with skill set behind it, you have no background in this versus somebody who has an expertise, I'm going to go with the person who has an expertise. But this is not it's not fair for this transgender woman to be rank 400 and something in men, and then you move over to women and then you're basically top 10. That's cheating. It's not fair for a woman who's been training all her life to compete against women and now they're not going to win because of the disadvantage. I understand that that the transgender community wants equality, but everything is not fair for everybody in this society. We can give them as much equality as possible, but this is where I think the conflict is starting to happen.
So in today's society, we often try to do equality and forget about equity. So if you remove all barriers and you just have the sport, this won't be equal. A few years back, they had the woman Caster Semenya, the track runner from, and they were actually disqualified from competing because they naturally produce more testosterone than the average woman. This right here just seems like we're going backwards now, and we have a person born biologically a man who transitioned post-puberty.
Yeah.
So post-development of crucial muscles for swimming. They have naturally broader shoulders. Bigger feet, longer limbs, bigger hands. All these immeasurables, they give you an unfair advantage. And you've now transitioned, not even fully, mainly on paper, because it has been noted out there, allegedly, that they still have their biologically male genitalia. And they make other swimmers who are biological women uncomfortable. There have been women who are training for years and have lost out their senior year because this person has transitioned in that time frame and now bumped them out. So they have got better year after year only to get bumped out in their senior year. Now they're missing out because someone has now changed over into a different category as far as sports are concerned. Yes, there are some sports where I feel this won't be a factor, like fencing. Fencing, yeah, you will have some reach issues, but somebody can smaller and quicker can get inside of your reach and they get points.
It's better skill set. If you got a better skill set,
jiu-jitsu. A woman could choke you out in a second with some jiu-jitsu. I've seen it time and time again. Yes, there are men that are stronger, but technique and a choke, you're out.
But skilled?
Equally skilled, that's going to be a hard one. But at the same time, they're very equally skilled because somebody, if they have more flexibility in their limbs, they can get you in certain chokes you may not be able to get as a man because your flexibility may not be there.
But I think 9 out of 10, if they're both on the same level as fighting and they're on the same level, 9 out of 10 men win.
Especially in grappling, because you've seen some of these MMA dudes where, like, I forget his name, but one dude's super strong, and the guys have a problem trying to pull his arm and try to armbar him. He can literally hold his arm against these other professional men. So that's why I was just saying, when a woman against a man that's equally skilled with that strength.
We've seen it though.
Yeah,
we've seen it. They got the trans wrestler, Matt Bex. They're trans male, and they're winning the championship against the women.
So that was going to be a question I was going to have proposed to you guys, since we're talking about mainly folks transitioning over to another gender and participating in sports against that gender. What about the athletes that have, for example, transition, but are forced to go back and participate against their biological gender, and they've already started taking testosterone? For example, I believe there not too long ago there was a female wrestler.
Matt Beck.
No, Beggs, yes, Texas. That's right. Yeah. You're right.
In Texas. So basically, they transitioned to a trans man, and they're on testosterone, and now they're pretty much undefeated. In their field, and they're forcing them because Texas, they're a very conservative state. They're like, nah, this is what you were born. This is what you're going to wrestle.
But you believe that's fair?
I don't believe that's fair because now you have an unfair advantage of testosterone. Testosterone naturally will build muscle regardless. A man literally doesn't have to do anything. If he has testosterone, it will naturally build within the system.
So how do y'all feel about testosterone testing for some of these sports?
It doesn't work because at the same time, at the point of testing and then the point of performance, if you've suppressed it just for the test, it can start developing again. Like the swimmer still has male genitalia. So naturally having your testicles, you're still going to produce testosterone. It's going to just come back because they're still in their youth. They're still in their prime where the most testosterone is produced in their body. So if you're constantly working out, you're constantly gaining more testosterone. So you're not going to, test and then stop working out. You're going to get right back in that pool or right back in whatever training facility you have, and you're going to begin to build more testosterone back. So by the time it's time to compete, you're back at peak.
Coach, how you feel about it?
About testosterone?
Yeah, testing.
I'm with Maul on that shit, because a lot of that shit too, when it comes to like any type of testing, you got to catch it at the right exact time. You mean, if you don't catch it at that current time, yeah, that person can pass.
Because they're not testing the night before.
Or at least get it to below that threshold.
Yeah, because
and then plus a lot of these people are getting smart anyways. You got players, athletes giving other people athletes about what's about to happen when people get tested, when someone's about to get tested. People do that now when it comes to the piss test. Like, look, this is what you do. You mean?
Yeah, they got
you can beat. I feel like you can beat certain drug tests. I think you can beat certain blood tests.
Right.
Me personally, I don't even think that even if you tested testosterone at a certain time changes the factor, because I think there's more factors in this whole equation than just testosterone. Testosterone doesn't just change your bone density and your lung capacity. It doesn't just change how strong you were previously. You just lost some testosterone and you're not feeling as strong as you used to. Doesn't mean that you're still not naturally stronger than a woman. So even if you're doing testosterone testing and you test it at the right time, just because your levels are down doesn't mean you didn't develop muscle better at a different time.
So I mean, you look at these guys who took steroids. Regardless, even when they cycle off, they're still going to be big because they have post-cycle therapy, PCT, and they have other methods where they're retaining this muscle. They could be off gear for years, but will still maintain size. They won't always have the same amount of strength. But, look at Ronnie Coleman. Even after all these surgeries and everything, where he hasn't been able to work out as much, he still retains so much muscle density from being on the steroids. Like, the man was walking in canes, but still has, like, veins the size of a child's arm on his arm, which don't make any sense. But when we circle back, it's just, where does it meet? Where are we not moving the field post? Because we just had certain things where it's not going to be equal. Like, he brought up MMA before. They had a trans female fighter who literally no one wanted to fight except for a select few because their punches were the punches of a male. They were breaking orbital bones on these women that they were fighting. And literally, it became it's an unfair advantage. The hand size, just the overall body composition of a man will not compute against a woman fairly. There are
do y'all agree? Do y'all agree with them being okay? So do y'all agree that they shouldn't be in different sports? Or do y'all agree that maybe this should be regulated in certain sports?
I think they should have their own league.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I think to make it fair, you should have have space for biological women to participate and compete against other biological women. And then if they want to get into the league or into the arena with the transgenders or even men, I mean, the invite's always been open, I think, for most sports for women to jump into men's sports if they're able to play and participate. Most times it's just not capable of playing at that level, especially on the pro level, but give them the option. Right now, there's not the option. It's just, hey, you guys are going to accept this because culturally, our society is pushing for everyone to agree that they're two and the same. They're both the same. When we just spent this whole podcast talking about the biological differences, the facts that they're not both the same, and therefore there are legit differences. So give them the option at the bare minimum. Right now, they do not have the option. That's why I believe it's also unfair, like we already spoke about.
You know what's so crazy though, is the fact there's a lot of people out here ignoring that fact. That's why I found really wild. Like, we're ignoring a lot of facts. Like, prime example, right? Let's use track athletes, for example. A lot of these women are running times, grown women are running times that high school boys are running in high school.
Yeah, it's just facts.
Right. And then Jove, I thought she was about to touch on this a little bit deeper when it comes to men. and I know you're gonna like what I'm about to say, is there's a lot of psychology when it comes to a man and a woman when it comes to sports.
Oh yeah.
Especially when it comes to like, especially
when a
when
woman
it comes
has
to
to go to compete against a man. Come on, man. How do you must feel? You probably feel defeated already.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially from a training aspect, right? Like training aspect. I'm gonna make this story quick, short. I got a guy who comes to the gym. Both his son and daughter play basketball. Question to y'all: which one y'all think comes earlier in the morning?
The girl.
The boy.
Son.
He's pushing him. Yeah, he's
The
pushing
son comes at 5. The daughter comes at 9. Who do you think the father's yelling at?
the son.
Now, the thing is too, and I've been blessed to talk about this with Javon and other people about this, is where that right there is that fuel and that little bit of a difference that a man has against a woman.
How old are they?
One's 16, the other one's 13.
Who's 16? Who's 13?
The oldest, the guy, 16. The other one's 13.
Okay. Who do you think has the better game?
The son.
Okay. But you think that the father is a little bit more biased towards the son?
I feel like he's more catering to the daughter.
He's the soft voice.
Right.
Yeah. Like I hear him all through it there when he's with his son.
I mean,
that's I feel like that's parenting though. I mean, I feel like fathers are harder on their boys than they are on their girls, and women are
or the
harder on their
children
women.
to begin with.
Yeah.
But absolutely though. But I'm saying this though, right? Think about that from a training aspect, right? In the sense of how like when someone's yelling at you, some people are like, okay, I'm going to do more. And there's other people out there that are saying like, no, don't yell at me.
Well, that's any with training though. That's a hard thing to gauge it on, because some people's learning styles, they don't respond to yelling, period.
Right.
Yeah, but then going back to the testosterone as well though, right? Yeah. When you already got that in you and you are like driving the needle on this kid, kind of no different from dogs, right? Like you keep on driving the needle on this dog or on this person and stuff, he gonna turn out the way you want him to be.
Well, I think you're getting at that men are more aggressive.
That's not guaranteed. You can break.
It's not. I'm not saying that, but hold on. None of this is guaranteed.
You can break dogs.
But none of this is guaranteed. I never said it was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that when it comes to these matchups, that's something that you gotta think about a little bit, right? This man is psychologically entering mentally different than you right now.
But
I'm saying that's not everyone. Keyword, not everyone. I'm just saying, just keep that in mind.
I hear what you're saying. So I think in a male space, we're more so almost always put into a competitive race. There's always a way of us competing against the next man or the next space. Like, and most times when there's a management position, they put a man. They put somebody who has a detriment to be more stern, more aggressive. And it leads to women being mislabeled when they take on those characteristics that they see men in power take, and them being labeled angry when they're essentially doing what we have to do to fight for position.
So what are you saying, Marlon?
You just
set it up for me, Marlon. What exactly are you saying?
Essentially, men are constantly put into spots of competition. So in that right, we're constantly put to rise to the cream of the crop, rise to the top, right? So we're constantly trying to vie for that top position.
Are you talking about our testosterone? Are you talking about in the workplace? Or are you talking about in sports?
In every
society.
In society.
Basically, men are more aggressive and more competitive on average than women. Is I think what both of you guys are
growing up, it didn't matter. Like, you competed against guys.
Don't say both. Don't say both. I was talking about sports.
It translates into a competitive nature.
When it comes to the workplace, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah. I said that's about work.
Yeah. Let's be clear. It's a whole nother
we
topic.
cut that
I don't
out,
think
cut
we
that
want
out.
to pay attention,
Yeah.
but because it's
No,
so
keep
many,
it on,
it's
keep it
so
on.
many. No, it's so many other variables
It's
that I
interesting,
would say play a factor in the workplace
But-
for the difference of men and women.
But see,
There is some prejudices that play a percentage. There's choices that men and women choose that play a huge percentage. There are choices when it comes to just gender in general that plays a percentage. There's so many other things that like 10 and 15 other things that play a percentage in that gap. And if you took away just, we're going to make everything fair, the law is everybody's going to have the option to get any other job or what they want. And they've done this in countries. It's still lopsided because men and women are different and they make different decisions on average.
yeah, and again, we're only talking about sports, but like what we're just getting into, what you spoke about there with jobs, this is a larger societal issue, and the overall agenda, what is really being discussed and talked about is what they call non-binary or getting rid of gender roles and having there be none of this, what we have traditionally grown up with, male type of positions and jobs or sports or in the home, and then female roles and positions. They're trying to say basically let people choose and be whoever they want to be, however they want to be, in whatever position, lifestyle they choose. So with that, you start breaking down some of the societal constructs we've had over the centuries to essentially allow people to be whoever and whatever they want to be in the world today. And that also translates into sports, which you're seeing with the topic we're discussing right now.
Can we wrap this up?
Because you're hitting on what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, because we can go into so many different ways. I want to wrap this up like this. I think that I want to be fair, and I think that it should be fair for everybody to have the opportunity to play every sport they want to play. I do not think it's fair for transgender women to play in certain sports. I think we need to sit down and really focus on which sports makes more sense. To answer Ron's question, I do not agree with them being in their own league. Me, I'm very traditional. I'm about science. Whoever you biologically are, I think that's the sport you should play in. And I don't think that you should be discriminated to not play in a woman's league because you train. I think that you're biologically a man and you should play in a man's league, and whatever sex that you want to change, we can respect your sex, but if you should be in a man's league or just don't play at all. In certain sports.
But then are we still discriminating in a sense?
I don't think that we're discriminating.
It can be
in certain sports.
that,
like I can't see a man playing swimming against a woman. That's just a sport that's just not fair. A man, if KD played in WNBA, that's not fair.
And to your point, Javon, the Army agrees with you because in the transgender training, again, just from my background as military, their training that they provided to the soldiers is exactly that. When you test physical tests off whatever gender you were born as.
Yes.
But they allow you to transition and will respect whatever name, prefix you ask to be your prefix or name. They will respect that. However, when you go physical, when you have physical tests or standards, it's for whatever you were born as. So I think that I don't know what other approach to take other than that.
Me neither, because I feel like if you give them their own league, it's alienating. If you allow them to transition into certain sports, it's unfair for the average female. So how do we make it a balance? The balance to me is your natural, biologically term. You are a man, you are a woman biologically. So biologically, you need to be in this category. Let's just say, take the term. Biologically, certain things, you need to be here, and biologically, in certain things, you need to be here. And certain things, you can do whatever you want, but certain things, it's just not fair. It's just not fair to put a white cornerback on a black wide receiver. So I'm not going to say that. That's
you trying to get cut off on that note.
Yeah.
On that note,
On that note.
Until next week.
And guess
Same
what?
bad
I ain't
toxics
regret
that
nothing I
Sticking with
said.
my notes.
You ain't got to cut that. That's facts.
Yeah.
When last time you
Yeah,
seen
yo.
a great white cornerback?
Hey, let
Jason
him compete.
Seymour?